start an action team at your school so you too can get in on the action. Are you in?
Log on to actionteam.org. Are you in?
Okay, back inside the locker room here now. The time is 4:07, and I believe we have someone on the line here now. Let's go to that right now.
All right, Ike. Long-time locker room contributor, cohort, old man now these days on the tennis circuit. We want to welcome Alabama A&M graduate, alumni of the locker room as well, author. He's in the literary world and tennis aficionado, Desmond McLennon. Desmond, are you there?
I am there. Hello, Marcus. Hello, Ike. How are you guys doing?
How you doing, my friend? Are you north of the United States now? Are you in Atlanta? Where are you now?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Alpharetta, Georgia. I am here with Tennis Pros of Atlanta.
Okay.
Establishing their brand and making tennis champions and working with all levels of play.
Okay. All right. All right. You working in? Are you working in a tennis company? Work for a tennis company or what? What do you do?
Tennis management company.
Tennis management.
We basically help manage like subdivisions and facilities, taking care of all their tennis needs for their neighborhood and community.
Okay. What is your basic job there?
My basic job is on the court as well as establishing the brand, working with other pros, training them, developing them,
okay,
and developing the company.
So you're on the court too. You're on the court besides doing some other things. Okay, yeah. You're real busy then.
Yeah, I can. Real busy.
You know me, I'm always working hard. You guys trade. It comes from the locker room. You know, Ike used to make me sweat really hard in there. So. Yeah,
well, we don't play around. When you come in the locker room, you have to work, and you know that. So this is nothing new to you.
And Desmond,
it's nothing new. It's actually a little bit easier than when it was in the locker room. It was actually tougher.
Okay.
Desmond, now we know.
Marcus,
now we know,
how that goes.
Right, exactly. Now we know you've also, before we talking about what's happening in the world of tennis, we want to our listeners know you've got a instructional tennis book out, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, I have. I wrote a book for kids on tennis, basically called Strings and Grips. It's a story basically where I've broken down all the elements of tennis, the different types of grips, how you hold the racket, and the different strings. They're all characters, and they all come together because the racket and the ball become friends, so they all form the sport. So it's just a way to teach kids about the sport of tennis, what's in it, and get them like inspired and fired up to want to get on the court. And it's a good opportunity for parents to talk to their kids too.
And where do they get the book? How can they find out more about it?
You can go to the website, which is www.strings, the letter N as in Nancy, grips.com, or you can get it on Amazon.
Okay, Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Now, Desmond, we wanted to have you on the locker room because we want to talk about what seems to be now an interesting time in the world of tennis. We wanted to get your take and opinion on some things. Before we talk about what's coming up with the U.S. Open, let's take a step back for a moment and visit the Olympics about a week or two ago, where we saw on one side we saw Serena Williams just destroy her way to the gold medal. Then we saw a surprise thing with Andy Murray. I don't want to say a surprise, but maybe it was a little bit. But what's your take on the Olympics? Let's go with that.
Okay, well, of course, the Olympics was very special. It was in London, and obviously we all know that one of the most important tournament, Wimbledon, just ended. And then 2 weeks later, the players had to come back and play the Olympics at Wimbledon. And it was kind of a different thing because Wimbledon has a tradition of wearing all white, and this time on the hallowed grounds of the All England Club, the players did not have to wear the traditional colors. So it was something special to be seen. And in the draw, of course, there was let's deal with the women first. Serena Williams, she's not the number one player in the world. Victoria Azarenka is, and then Maria Sharapova is the number 2 player in the world from Russia. And basically, Serena played Azarenka in the semifinals and beat her like 6-2, 6-1. And then in the finals against Sharapova,
Desmond, excuse me,
he gave her a bagel and a breadstick. That's what we call it in tennis when you beat someone 6-love. That's 0, so that's a bagel.
What do you call that?
A breadstick is the 1, so 6-love, 6-1.
What do you call that now?
Bagel and breadstick and took the gold medal.
What do you say you call that when they get beat like that? She got beat pretty badly. You say you call it a bagel?
She got a bagel and a breadstick.
A bagel and a breadstick. Oh, bagel and a breadstick. Okay. All right. What was it? Was it a surprise on the men's side there? Were you surprised that Federer jumped out there and become the number 1 tennis player again on the men's side? At age
both
31?
But excited for him because, you know, he's a class act. You know, he's one of the tennis players who does a lot off the court, too. And, you know, he's had that classic game and the respect for the history of the sport. So it was nice to see him get the #1 position again because, you know, as we all know in sports, you always have to give your best and you always got to believe in yourself. And even in the tough times the last couple of years where he hasn't won a slam, he's always gone out there and fought hard. And it's kind of good to see someone in their 30s, now he's 31, you know, still playing at a great level that he is. He's #1 in the world. He just beat Djokovic again in Cincinnati this past weekend. So, you know, he's doing really good. And, you know, he's married and has twins, so he has a complete life.
Okay.
Desmond, one of the questions I wanted to throw out there to you, and I don't know if I missed some of your social media comments about this, but how surprised were you to see just how Serena stormed her way to the gold medal? You know, being the number 1 and #2 players respectively in a row. Was it almost as if did those ladies take the day off in a sense, or
No,
did Serena still got a lot more left in the tank?
The thing with the Williams sisters that's always been said is that when they do not make mistakes, they are hard to beat, right? You have to hope that you have a Serena Williams who's a little off or a Venus Williams who's off a little bit to stand a chance. But, I mean, Serena, she wanted that gold medal. She's talked about it how she wanted a singles gold medal because Venus has one, and, you know, she's a little sister, so she wants to have what big sister has. So she certainly proved how much she wanted it. And, of course, you know, Venus and Serena won the doubles for the United States and the ladies doubles too at the Olympics. So, but I think there was some controversy with the way how Serena won because, you know, after she won, she did
the dance. Yeah,
she did a dance. She
right.
did, you know, which is notorious with the area of Compton, California. What's it called? Crip dancing, crip walking.
The crip walk dance.
The sea dance. Yeah,
sea walk.
Dance
Sea walk. Right. So
some people felt it was a little bit disrespectful to do that at Wimbledon, but you know, she was celebrating. I mean, everyone reacts when they win a gold medal. People train all their lives for that one opportunity. So.
Yeah, well, you know, she's over in great old England there, where things are, you know, kind of tight. You know, a little cup of tea and things like that. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why it didn't go so well over there. But I thought for myself that her winning what she did there wasn't anything too obtrusive as far as I'm concerned.
No, I agree with you. I mean, there's other players who, you know, kiss the grass and roll over it and jump over the net, and everyone celebrates in different ways. I mean, it's a great accomplishment, and I don't think there was anything meant to be offensive. I think it's just, I was quite impressed by her footwork, to be honest with you.
Now, Desmond, as we move ahead to the U.S. Open, I guess one of the big questions I'm looking at is, even though we know the rankings are out, who is the top dominant man on the men's side going in? We know Andy Murray just won Wimbledon, so that says something right there. We know what.
He won the Olympics.
Excuse me. He won on the Olympics, winning gold in the Olympics. We know Federer won Wimbledon, and we know that it seems like there's been some jockeying back and forth with these major tournaments in tennis on the men's side. Who's going in? Who is the top male for U.S. Open and top female for U.S. Open? Who should we look for?
Okay, well, obviously, with the seedings, you know, Federer will be the top seed, and then Djokovic will be number 2. And the biggest shock for the U.S. Open is that Rafael Nadal will not be there. So Rafael Nadal, who's, you know, the king of clay on Spain and former number 1, he pulled out of the Olympics due to an injury after he lost in the second round of Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And most people speculated, well, maybe it was just his ego, but I guess he has a serious injury or somewhat serious because he pulled out of the Open, and it's the first time he's, like, missing that. So it kind of makes the men's draw very, 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 like, open because Andy Murray could creep through there this time because usually Nadal beats Murray at the Open pretty much, and he's not now. With Nadal not being a factor, that kind of changes the seedings a little bit, and you know, you always have some other players like, you know, Marty Fish or John Isner from the United States or even Andy Roddick that can really do some damage. You know, obviously it's one of the tournaments that they all look forward to, playing in their country, playing in New York, you know, under the lights, the crowd. So it's hard to say who is a clear favorite. Obviously you want to go with Federer and Djokovic, but, you know, you cannot count out Murray. You know, he's being coached by Yvonne Lendo, former great, and, you know, and his results are speaking for themselves. So definitely it's between those three, but you never know. There could be a dark horse, like I said, from the U.S. or, maybe even like one Martini Del Potro who won the U.S. Open in 2009.
Well, how serious is excuse me? How serious is Nadal's injury? That they were talking about, his knees or whatever it is. He's rather young. I think he's still about 25 or 26.
Yeah, he's 26. Correct, with Nadal.
Is it serious enough to put a damper to his career or end his career or what? I don't know.
I don't think so. They're saying that it's another part of the knee that's been hurting him, not the same one that he's had issues with. Mm-hmm. But we all know in this sport, you got to have good knees. You got to bend, you got to get under the ball, you have to a lot of jerking, turning, changing direction. So, I would say it's something that if he doesn't come back sooner, like if he doesn't come back by at least September, then I think it will be something serious, and he'll probably may just have to play more on clay, which we know he'll be dominant on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Desmond, on the women's side, who should we look for? I mean, is it obvious that we go with Serena Williams? Do we pencil her in? Or, on the women's side for the U.S. Open, who should we look for?
Well, the defending champion is Samantha Stosur, who beat Serena last year. Samantha Stosur is from Australia, so I don't really know if she'll be a factor this year. So you always have to think about who the defending champion is. Serena is definitely a force. Again, I think like the last couple of weeks, I think she was on a 15-match winning streak. She just recently lost in Cincinnati to the German Angelique Kerber, and it was more that.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
Yeah. A lot of errors, which I said again is the ingredient to beat a Williams. When they make a lot of errors, that opens the door for someone to take them down. And just a lot. I think it was just Kerber's a great player from Germany, up and coming. She's like number 7 in the world, I believe. And but I think that with the women, it's going to be always interesting because it seems lately that there's no real solid top player. Like you have the people who are number 1, but like as a ranker, but she hasn't really been a factor. She's been stopped at Wimbledon and the Olympics by Serena.
Okay, Desmond, may I ask you a question here, not directly to the who's playing and so forth. What is in your opinion, what is the face of tennis in the United States now? Are we striving? Are we getting better? More young people playing tennis now? How is it? At one time when
I believe that there are more younger players playing tennis, but one of the things that has to happen, because obviously I'm very in tune with what's going on with youth. The tennis has changed. We have this whole different concept of having kids who are younger play on smaller courts with lighter balls and playing more matches. I think what happens, why tennis has lost a lot of athletes and not attracted a lot of athletes, is because sometimes the instruction doesn't really gear one for a competition. And the USTA has really done a lot of research, which is the United States Tennis Association, to really restructure how tennis is being taught to kids and trying to make it more competitive, because kids want to have fun, they want to play, they want to compete. And I think that's something that is really being done now, where stressing competition matches, because that's what's being done in Europe and in Europe and even Asia, where it's about competition, it's about conditioning, it's about that technique, but also competing.
One final footnote on that same thing there. What about Afro-Americans? What about the Afro-American youth? Mm-hmm. Are they more into it now? Are they more into it now than they were in the past?
I definitely believe so. I know that earlier, like the number 1 tennis player and the juniors in the girls is an African American. Her name is Taylor Townsend. I believe she's from Atlanta. And there's another African American girl by the name of Sloane Stevens. She's been doing pretty well on the women's tour, and I think she played in the Olympics too. Of course, we have Atlanta's Donald Young, who just recently snapped a 14-match losing streak. He's in New Haven right now, so he won a match finally. But I do believe that African American. There's a lot more African American tennis players, obviously inspired by Venus and Serena Williams, and I think it's just going to take some time, and it's just a matter of those kids that have the talent and the potential being recognized and being trained to handle the mental side of the game, because everyone can hit a ball, But it's a matter of, like, who's going to keep the ball in, who's going to deal with the situations better.
Yeah, Desmond, yeah, it's a good question right there because last brother I can recall dominating in the tennis side, Michael Chang, Desmond. So, you know, it's been a while since we've seen something like that, but we'll obviously keep our eyes on see what happens for the future of tennis. And once again, I want to thank you, Desmond, for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know you got about 8 different things going on down there in Atlanta.
Oh, you know how I do it already, Marcus. It's about 8 to 10, you know. But, I really appreciate you guys. And, again, you know, I always think about you guys because my foundation is there at Alabama A&M. And, again, Ike, Marcus, Mrs. Ragland, everyone that's there, you know, people on the campus and athletics, coaches, they've all been a part of my journey. And I could not have the success I'm having without having people like you on my team. And I really appreciate you guys.
Well,
I just wanted to say, too, I'm so excited. I heard that the tennis courts got resurfaced there. So I will definitely be coming down there sometime soon because I have to see that.
Yeah, they did get resurfaced. You know, it's always good for us here on the campus of Alabama A&M University when someone who leaves us and goes off somewhere is successful in doing things and doing well, and that seems to what you're doing now. And from where we sit and where I sit, we are proud of you. You're representing us well, so keep doing it.
Thank you so much.
All right, Des, thank you again. Of course, you can check out his book on Amazon.com. That's, if I'm correct, is it Strings and Grips, Des?
Yeah, Strings, the letter N, instead of and, A-N-D, just the letter N.
Okay.
Grips.com.
Okay.
And also, too, I got to let you guys know this. I along with my publisher, Accelerate, we created an online tennis game called Rack Attack. And Rack Attack is now an iPhone app. So for anyone who has iPhone, they can download the app and play the game. You basically play against a ball machine, hitting balls on different surfaces, and when you successfully clear it, you go to the next level, which might be a different surface, and the ball machine spits out the balls faster. So that's really an exciting thing for me to kind of say that, you know, I've been a part of the process of getting that done, too. So it's exciting times, definitely.
And clearly a lot of things going on for you, Des. Thanks for coming on again and teach those youngsters down there after a big win. No sea walking.
Definitely no sea walking.
All right, Des.
Bulldog stomp.
Hey, you're at the Bulldog stomp. But all right, Des, we'll catch up with you, and I will talk with you later on, my bro.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Take care now. Okay, well, Desmond, excuse me. Desmond, of course, when we know that Desmond around here, he was always an upbeat guy and always ready to do whatever he wanted you to do. Never any kind of problems or anything. He had a great personality, a great person here. And as I said, it makes me happy. And other people, too. I know you, too, Marcus,
right.
And see somebody who leaves us and goes off and continues to do well. It bodes well for, you know, the school, because he represents the school. He's an ambassador for the school. And everything he does well, you know, reflects in a positive manner here. So,
and you can tell the
happy.
true passion he has for the sport, Ike. And you hear the way that those European names come flying off Desmond's tongue right there. Ever since I've known him from here to going on to what he's doing in the present, he's always had a passion for tennis. He's following his passion and making a living off of it. So it's good to have him on here once again to catch up with Des.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got